Hi, welcome back to the channel. Today I have Anbernic RG40xxV to have a look at. I did get it about a week ago, so I have been playing with it. Again, just the Anbernic normal box. I did get the white. Again, no tape on the Anbernic box, which is awesome. Okay, let's dive into this and see what we got. Okay, let's open this up. Stick that aside for now. So inside the box we have the device case, we have the 256 gigabyte card. Will that focus in on that? There we go. It's not a black one, it's blue now, so it's better than the other cards they were giving. And then we have just Anbernic manual, which gives you your hotkeys. If you've never used them before, it tells you how to get in and out of games, which can be different on each device. You know, it just tells you some basic stuff. If you've never had one before, give it a read. It does actually help you. And then, of course, in here we have our charging cable. Okay, now the device. So you always get the foam cover and plastic. I did get the white, and I'm really impressed with the white. I'm glad I got the white. It looks fantastic. It feels and looks fantastic. The white, if you ask me, is the way to go with this device. So again, this is the Anbernic RG40xxV, which is V is for vertical. Their last device was the Anbernic 4G-XXH, which is horizontal. So you can see if I can zoom out of this. You got your horizontal and your vertical device there. These both have the same chipset. They will play the exact same games, but I'm liking the feeling of this vertical. It just feels really good and solid in the hands. Right out of the box, I'm impressed with it. Okay, so let's have a little walk around and we'll go from there. Okay, so I just thought we'd do a quick walk around. Starting with the front, we have the new Anbernic joysticks, which are a lot better. RGB, D-pad, start, select, menu button, and our 4 buttons and our single mono speaker. On this side we have our power and our reset button, because our menu button is there. On the other side we have our volume rocker and our TF1. Oh sorry, on this side we also have our TF2 card. On the top we just have our mini HDMI out and our 2 lights. On the bottom we have our headphone jack and our TC-OTG charger for charging and hooking it to the computer. On the back side, which we find on all the Anbernics now, is we have our L1 and L2, R1 and R2 button, and then our basic Anbernic model RG40xxV. It's got a LiPo battery, 5-volt charging, 3200 milliamp battery, standard Anbernic back tag on their devices. Okay, so that's the walk around. Let's turn it on and see how we're gonna do. Okay, so like I said at the start there, I have had this for a week. I have been playing with it. I've gone camping with it. I took it with me camping. It was great. It's got Wi-Fi in it, so let's turn it on. See how long it takes to turn on. So not too long, about average for Anbernic. So this is our new welcome screen, which we've been getting with a lot of the last devices. So we just have our 2 games areas here. We have our app center, which you're going to have your music, your video, your ebooks if you want to read ebooks, your file manager, I wouldn't go into the file manager unless you want to mess stuff up. Your apps and your exports. A in, B out, very simple. Your favorites. Your recents. Your search. And your settings. And of course, the first thing you always do, unless you like the noise of the buttons, is button sounds. You go in and you just turn them off. There, no more button sounds. So in settings, we have our system's information, which is firmware v1.0.1, and there's a date. So August of this year. So I think there's an update, but I like to do these right out of the box, so what you see is what you get. So you don't have to worry about updating it to do anything. And then this is just basic stuff about the chip. It's got the H700, like the last 3 or 4 Anbernic devices, other than the Cube and the 556, which I think we have the 406V coming out in later this week, so that'll be the next review if I don't do some games on this one in between. Available memory, just your basic stuff in here. So what I'll do now is, let's go to apps. Yeah, I showed you apps, the music and all that. So what I'll do now is I'll just turn it off, put in the 256 gigabyte card, and we'll check out the games. Okay, so what I always do is I always buy on release day, and I always get the biggest game card I can get, because the point of my videos are to show you what you get right out of the box for someone who doesn't have all the downloaded cores, BIOSes, all that stuff. Out of the box, play. I did buy the Cube with no card, and I'm regretting that, because I thought I could just, I just use my 556 card, throw it into the Cube, and it'd be good. I'm regretting that. I didn't buy a game card with the Cube, and I changed what I did, and I don't like it. When you buy an Anbernic device, if you're not an experienced handhelder who has other game cards with other games and the CPU, the ROMs, the BIOS, everything you need to get it going, I suggest you buy right from Anbernic. I've never had any trouble. Sometimes the prices are a bit more, but if you get it on release day, you do really well, because you get a $5 or $10 reduction in price, and it covers half the shipping, which isn't bad. But I always buy the biggest card, and they range from 64 all the way up to 256 gig, and it does increase the price by 20 bucks, but that $20 saves you so much time when you have the games. You don't have to worry about it. Now, if you're worried about pirating and all that stuff, then that's on you. But I buy the card, the game, right from Anbernic, so I have all the games. So this is what you get out of the box. No updates. You get this, you throw it in your bag, and you go. You don't have to worry about doing any setup, okay? So I've got the biggest card. So you've got 2 places to play games on the Anbernic in the Anbernic software, if you don't put your own launcher and stuff in, which you can. You got and you pick TF1, TF2. I always just play on the bigger card, and it shows your PSP games, your PS1 games, your Virtual Arcade, your CPS1, CPS2, CPS3, Neo Geo, Final Burn Alpha, MAME. MAME and Vertical are the same, except obviously vertical arcade games, shooters, stuff like that, your other arcade games, and there will be some crossover. In the MAMEs, you got your Game Boy Advance, your NES, your Super NES, your Sega Master System, your Mega Drive, your Sega 32X, your Game Boy Color, Game Boy, PCE, PC Engine. This is another handheld NGPC, your Game Gear, and your WonderSwan. Those are the games. Those are the game systems that are going to be on here, and that's the way you see it in the first games room. I always play in here in your RetroArch games. It's just a different way to look at it. And it's all the same systems, okay? So on the PSP, on this card, on the big card, there's 75 games. On the PlayStation, there's 157. Nintendo DS, there's 10. Nintendo 64, there's 10. Atomic Wave, there's 6. Atari 2600, there's 593. Dreamcast, there's 39, which isn't bad. Open Burn, there is 9. CPS 1, there's 30. CPS 2, there's 36, and I bet there's only 3 or 4 in here. Yeah, there's usually only 4 or 5 in here in CPS 3. Final Burn Neo. Final Burn Neo is almost like arcade games, stuff like that. There's a 1600. Then you get your Game Boy Color, you got 613. You got your Game Boy Advance, which is 920 games. You got your Game Boy, which is 864 games. Famicom or NES, whatever you want to call it, is 669. Then we got our Sega Game Gear, we got 480. Game & Watch, these are from the 80s. These are just those little Game & Watch. They have 2 new ones out, but you got all your Game & Watch. You got 49 there. Homebrew, you got 31. MAME, 1382. Now, if you're old school and you just want to play arcade games, you get this big card. You're going to be covered for 99% of any arcade game you want to play. Okay. You got your Mega Drive here. You've got 651. You've got your Mega Drive CD. You've got 11, which is about average. You got your MSX again, which is I liken these to arcade games, but there is a home system. Your Naomi, you get 11. You get, sorry, I didn't say the number. There's 668 MSX games there. Now there are going to be lots of repeats, so don't get too excited. There's lots of repeats on these cards. You got your Neo Geo, you got 99. Your NGPC, which is a handheld, you got 113. Your PC Engine, you got 239. Your PC Engine CD, you got 4. You got your Pico 8. Now you can still get these. The Pico 8, you can still download and get these online. But you got 39. You got your Saturn. You got 8, which isn't too bad for Saturn. Your Sega 32X, which isn't too bad. You got 9 there. Your Super Famicom or Super NES, you got over 1,000. It just keeps going. You got your Sega Master System, you got 519. Your Vertical Arcade, you got 156. Your which is Virtual Boy, I never played this one, you got 18. And Wonder Swan is another handheld, you got 66. And then these are always fun, your ports. There's lots in here. I like playing Quake, I like playing Doom, Wolfenstein, Wolfenstein Spear of Destiny, Doom 1, Doom 2. They're all in here. So that is what you have on the big card, the 256 gigabyte card. You go over to here, and it's the you go over to the ones that come on the built-in card. There's just as you can see, there's less of them. And you might have some doubles, but 256 gigabyte card, whether you're going to play arcade, whether you're going to play fighting games, whether you're going to play Super Nintendo, whether you're going to play Game Boy, whatever you buy this for, you buy this and the big card, you're set. Just like any Anbernic device right now that has that H700 chip in it, and just you buy any of the recent handhelds that have the H700 chip in, And you just got to pick. You pick what you want. You want a vertical with a single. You want a horizontal with 2 sticks. You want a smaller. They all have the H700. They're all basically going to play the same. The longer this device is out, the more updates, the more other software that is available for it. But anything for the H700 is going to play on any other H700 chip. Okay, so that's the device in a whole. I'll do some quick games, then I'll come back for my final thoughts. Okay, so we played a couple of games. We played 5 games. We played Game Boy Advanced Altered Beast. We played PSP Tekken 6. And then I did play another PSP game because I didn't like... I showed Tekken how it played. So I played Metal Slug XX. And then I played a DreamCast SoulCalibur game. And then I played Sega 32X Virtual Fighter. Okay, so the Game Boy Advanced Altered Beast game looked good, played good, and sound really good. It did any sort of Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Wonder Swan, anything like that, any 8-bit, 16-bit are going to play really good on here. Famicom's all going to play really good on here. And the screen looks amazing. PSP Tekken 6 was a 3D fighting game, and you saw it sounded terrible and it did not play at full speed. Now, this is right out of the box. You could go in and tweak it and probably make it play good. But remember, everything I do is straight out of the box, so you can just play. Okay, Tekken 6 is a definite no play with PSP on this right out of the box. So 3D fighting games and stuff like that on PSP might struggle right out of the box. So what I did is I played another PSP game, Metal Slug XX. And as you saw, it played great, sounded good, looked good, moved good, stayed at full speed. It played really good. So what that tells me is when it comes to PSP games, you are going to have to pick and choose your PSP games to probably stay away from the 3D fighting games and the 3D games and just play the 2D games. And it will play really nice, look good, and sound good. The screen on this thing is amazing, and the buttons, the D-pad, the joystick, you know, the RGBs, the buttons are really nice. Okay, for my 4th game, I played a Dreamcast game, and I played SoulCalibur because you stick to the 3D games to try and push the thing. And it played SoulCalibur really nice, and the ROM on this one seems to be good because a lot of times when you get the SoulCalibur, I use that a lot, the ROMs aren't right. When you're picking your character, it's all pixelated and you can't see it, but it plays good. This ROM played really well. You could see the full face of the character. And then when it went in to play the game, it played it really well. It played it at full speed. It played it good. So Dreamcast, what's on here will probably play really good. It looks good. So Dreamcast on the vertical is good. I didn't really play like when Sega 3DX came out originally. I didn't really play that. I was raising a family, so I kind of got out of video games for stuff like that. But I did play on here. I played on the Sega 32X. I played Virtua Fighter. I wasn't impressed with it. It looked like it was playing slow, but that might be how it was supposed to play. I think it played sluggish. It sounded okay, but I think it played sluggish. So I think with the RG40xxV, you are going to be playing games. You're gonna have to pick and choose. Now they're all gonna run. They're just not gonna run perfectly. So that's why I like getting this big card. It's so you got lots to choose from. If you can't find it on one system, you might be able to find it on another system that plays really well. Like one of my favorite games is Joust, and usually if you can't find it in the arcade or the vertical, you can usually find it it's under a Williams arcade under I think it's Nintendo Super NES, and it's usually in there. If you can't find one version, you can find another version. So games, you're gonna have to pick and choose, but anything up to and including, you know, PSP. I didn't play any PS1 games. I assume they're gonna be the same. They're gonna pick and choose, but just find what you want, play it, and you can tweak it and play with it. You can change the settings, and you change the settings, you'll probably make it all play. It's on here. It probably will all play. Okay, I'll come back for my final thoughts, and we'll wrap this up. Okay, my final thoughts for the Anbernic RG40xxV. V always stands for vertical, and that's how they grade their systems here. This is straight out of the box. It has a 256 gigabyte card in it, and then their 64 gigabyte card. Buttons, build quality, screen, how it feels in the hand. This thing is a definite win. This thing feels really solid. I like how it feels in the hands. The D-pad works really well. The buttons, they're not too loud. They are clicky, but they're not too loud. The joystick is really good. The power button and the reset button work really well. The buttons on the back aren't too clicky. You have lots of control on the sound, of course. You have lots of control on what you want to do with the RGB lighting around the joystick. The screen does dim down quite a bit too, so if you want to play it in bed or you want to play it outside in the sun. I was camping the first weekend I had this, and the sun, I did play it out in the sun. It was too bright in direct sun, but if you can find some shade or sit under an awning with the screen up, it looks really fine, and it sounds really good. I had no problem whatsoever connecting it to the Wi-Fi. It connected right away, not a problem. It found the cards, played all the games I wanted to play on it. I have certain games I like to play, and it played those really well. When it comes to the harder demanding games, like I said in the games review, the PSP 3D games, you're going to have to pick and choose what you play. It's probably same on N64, PS1. You're probably going to have to pick and choose what you play. You might have to learn how to tweak a setting here, tweak a setting there, but it does play. It is. I think this is. It's for some reason this just feels really good in the hands this time. It just seems really good. The RG40xxV, I think, is a definite win from Anbernic. Now they have been pushing this H700 chip out a lot in all of the last handhelds. So basically, this year you're either going to get the Unisoc 820 or you're going to get the H700 chip. The Unisoc H20 are going to be in the 556 in the Cube, and in the 506, I do believe. I might be, and of course in the 406, the RG40xxV that's releasing next week. That will play, of course, the higher demanding games because that's the Android system. But if you want something that's not on the Android system, you're going to be playing with these H700 chips, and you just got to go back. You just got to go look at their catalog and find out what you want. Do you want the big handhelds? Do you want vertical? Do you want the big vertical? Do you want the horizontal? It all depends. They have lots, and they all basically play the same things. The sticks are starting to change. These RGB sticks are a lot better than what you would have found on the 556. The Cube has the new ones, but the 556 has the older ones. They don't quite move the same, but it's all going to be personal preference. If you're looking for a handheld right out of the box, it has a great screen, great buttons, sounds good, looks good. I think the RG40xxV is good. It's definitely worth its money. Okay, that is my opinion on the RG40xxV. Thanks for stopping by. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.